It's 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and I have a tenant calling me saying, hey, my furnace is out. It's like 30 degrees in my house right now.
Hey, it's Kevin Amolsch, Pine Financial Group. We work together so you succeed. Hey, you found us here on Facebook. You found us here on YouTube. Please help us out. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave us some comments. We're trying to build a community and a channel so we can help more real estate investors just like you. I have a fantastic guest with me today, Mr. Scott Kraft. We're going to talk about what it means to be a landlord. So, Scott, what does that even mean? What does it mean to be a landlord?
Sure, yeah. And I mean, this might sound like a really simple question, but what does it mean to be a landlord? It means that you own property that you are then going to rent out to tenants who are going to live there, right? And pay you rent in return. It sounds like a really straightforward business, and it is a great way to earn passive income through month after month after month while you own this property. But there's a lot more to it than that, and I think that a lot of landlords need to realize what it is that they're actually providing. Right? This is a service. This is a product you're providing to your tenants. What you're providing is a safe, clean, healthy place for them to live and spend their life, right? So you have to take it very seriously, because I know that there are a lot of landlords out there, quite frankly, who don't. I think that they're the minority. I think I've heard that 90% of the complaints and issues that people have with landlords comes from about 10% of the landlords, and I think that that's a huge reason that we're seeing so much legislation coming down trying to regulate this business.
Okay, so we're going to talk about what it means to be a landlord. And I understand the simple concept. You own a property and you rent it out. But if I'm going to tap my brakes here before I actually jump in, what do I need to be aware of?
So you need to be aware of really anything that could happen that could potentially make this property unsafe for your tenants, right? Is the electrical system safe? Is there a functioning heater in the house? It blows my mind how I hear about, every time we get a cold spell in the weather, you see on the news, some apartment building somewhere has no heat or has no hot water running. And it's just not fair. It's not safe. Quite frankly, it's not legal to provide housing like that to your tenants.
Oh, I can't even tell you how many times I've had furnaces go out at the exact wrong time. So how do you handle that?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's going to happen, right? I've had hot water heaters, I don't want to say explode, but
that's kind of what they do.
Right, exactly. Water is filling the basement, and it's if I don't do anything, they're not going to have hot water. They're going to have standing water in the basement. They're going to have mold. They're going to have all this stuff. Or, a furnace that goes out on the coldest day of the year. I too have had that happen as a landlord. And what that means is you have to be ready to pick up the phone. Actually, one time it was a New Year's Eve. Furnace went out, cold day. It's 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and I have a tenant calling me saying, hey, my furnace is out. It's like 30 degrees in my house right now. So guess what? I had to get on the phone. I had to find a 24-hour emergency repairman, pay out the wazoo because of the day it was, the time it was, and an emergency call. But that's what it means to really be a landlord, is you have to be willing to do all that stuff. Because again, you're providing a safe place for people to live. And that's your service. That's your product.
Man, Scott, that sounds like a lot of responsibility, especially for a newer real estate investor. So what if you're not up for all of that responsibility?
It really is a lot of responsibility. And it's a heavy weight on your shoulders, right? Especially as you start to accrue more and more rental properties. So if you're not up for that, that doesn't mean you can't be a landlord. Okay, what you can do is hire a management company. Find yourself a really good management company that has great recommendations from other landlords. Maybe talk to some of their tenants and ask how they like working with them. But basically take that responsibility off your back. Now, financially speaking, you're still going to be responsible for that broken furnace or that busted hot water heater, whatever it is. But if you don't want that 10 p.m. call on New Year's Eve, get yourself a manager that is responsible, and they will take that phone call. They will hire someone to go out there. You're still paying for it as the landlord, but that's a really good way to still be responsible, still, be a landlord, get all of that monthly income and appreciation over the years without necessarily having to take on that additional responsibility.
Yeah, I love that. Jared in our office says, if you don't want to deal with the tenants, the toilets, and the tantrums.
Yep, exactly.
All right, well, I think we're going to close out the video with that. Scott, thank you so much for coming on and sharing what it means to be a landlord. If you have questions for Scott, you have questions about Pine Financial Group, you can get a lot more information at pinefinancialgroup.com.